sometimes the longer you live, the better job at squelching you have become, and so you can't really tell. But once you start reaching for feelings of satisfaction, that awareness will come stronger and stronger. Momentum is the subject that you're talking about. So if a desire has a little bit of momentum, you might not notice it. The difference between satisfied and dissatisfied might be so slight that you don't even know you want it. But if you are cleaning that up and allowing that desire to grow, then it won't be long before you'll know.
Well, this is the first time in my life I've been totally alone.
A desire doesn't have to be strong in order to be satisfied. It's just that you all want the things that you want the most to be satisfied. You like that feeling of conquering.
What I'm saying is I've always lived my life for other people.
Well,
for my children. Dumb. I know. And I lost my 21-year-old son a year ago.
We want to go back and touch on living your life for other people. There's a certain satisfaction in that, because as you just said, you weren't really clear about what you wanted, and your care about them is really in your vortex. And so if you are wanting to feel good, and part of your feeling good is them feeling good, that's all right. It's easy for that to come about, but you don't want to lose track of what you want. That's the whole point of this conversation.
But what I'm saying, some people just know what they want.
Well, and it's because they allowed it to get big enough that they know it. If somebody called you on the telephone and said, hello, you don't know me, I'm just calling to tell you I will never call you again, you would say, who cares? Mm-hmm. But if somebody you care about says that, then you feel differently, like your 21-year-old son. And so the way that you allow your desire to grow is by encouraging it, by thinking about it, by allowing it to gather more momentum, by not putting the brakes on with opposite thoughts.
So that's what I'm just trying to do with my life now. Everybody has ideas of where I should go and what I should do and how to deal with this loss. And I've just been...
Well, dealing with the loss, which is natural, puts the brakes on a whole lot of things. Because when you're focused upon something like that and feeling the discomfort of that, then you don't really let your natural desires continue to evolve. You sort of have to isolate the two.
So that's what I've been doing, is this recovery, and I do know
but
now.
You see, but hear us. Recovery from what? It's like people say, I want freedom. Freedom from what? From the bondage I'm focused upon all the time. Recovery from what? The grief that I'm feeling. And so when you're recovering from something, you're pointed in the wrong direction, and every effort at recovery keeps you from moving toward what you want. And so what we want you to hear from us, and we know it's hard, but when you wake up or when you come out of meditation, for a split second, you're recovered. You're recovered. And if you don't go back and bring it forward, then you can stay in that better feeling place. Let's say something happened 20 years ago, and you thought about it 19 years ago and 18 years ago and 17 years ago and 16 years ago. You talked about it yesterday and today. Then you kept updating it. You kept renewing it. So it continues to be a resistant factor in your alignment process. But at any point along the way, when you choose to think about something that feels good rather than that, in time, that thing that happened 20 years ago, you could have left it there if you'd known what you now know, you see. And so you can leave the grief of loss now if you will focus upon the fact that there is no loss. We said to Esther, because she was suffering so much when Jerry made his transition, and we said, look for him where he is, not where he was. Well, that really got her attention. Oh, where he is. You won't find him in a thought that feels bad. As you focus on thoughts that feel bad, you can't find him. You find him when you're reveling. You find him when you're laughing. You find him when you're enjoying something. You find him when you're feeling satisfaction. And so it gives you the opportunity to discover how to tune yourself to this powerful, good feeling energy.
And allowing yourself to feel good is a hard thing too. Something when you feel like you shouldn't have joy again. You feel like you shouldn't, so.
Well,
that's just, I think I do know where I'm heading.
That's something you've been dragging around for a while. And whoever gave you that piece of advice is probably not in the happy group. Years ago, a woman was suffering over the death of her beloved dog, really suffering. And we get it. We get why. The dog was pure positive energy and an object of her attention that caused her to feel good. It was easy for her to find satisfaction when she was with her dog. And so she was suffering. And she said, what should I do? And we said, well, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would go get another dog today. And she said, and go through this again? And we said, well, what do you mean go through this again? You're going through this. So we said, so let's see if we're hearing you clearly. You're saying you don't want to find something to focus on that makes you feel better for fear that better thing will go away too, and then you'll feel bad again. So rather than ever feel good and then bad, you choose to just keep feeling bad.
Yeah.
And so we're sort of saying that to all of you about everything. You could choose to feel better, but we know that what is feels dominant, because you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it, or you can't see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it. In other words, you're translating your happiness based upon what's present in your physical reality. And once you get focused on thoughts turning to things, once you get a project going, once you allow yourself to focus again, then life force will flow through you. A lot of times when you are watching youngsters grow up, or you're watching their enthusiasm for life, they serve as a catalyst for you to feel more excited, or for you to feel better, because their alignment is influential and contagious. And isn't it fun to be with someone who's laughing? Isn't it nice to be with someone who's having a good time? When someone holds you as their object of attention, and they're all tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and they're communicating with you or interacting with you, of course it is life-giving to you. But if you depend upon that person or any person to be what gives you that life-giving feeling, they're always going to disappoint you, because it's not their job to stay in constant alignment and shine on you, but it is what your inner being always does. So if you will rely less on fickle, unreliable humans. Esther was pretty mad at Jerry for cutting out on her early. In other words, I was happy when I was with you, and now you're not here, I'm not so happy, and I blame you. Well, she had to get over that. She had to find something else to focus on, and it took a little while. Every weekend she would still come and do this, and she would have the relief of this life-giving energy. So she was in better shape than most, because she at least knew how to find relief. We want you to find relief and to sustain relief and to understand that you're supposed to feel good. In what context would someone teach you that when someone dies, which means high probability you're going to know one,
Yeah.
that you're not supposed to keep living?
Yeah.
Jesus said, let the dead bury the dead. And that's what he meant. Are you kidding me? That's what he meant. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're going to focus in a way that pinches yourself off from the life that is available to you? And the true irony in all of that is that those dead guys are more alive than any of you. That's the real irony in all of it, you see. Enough?
Enough.
Really
Thank you.
good. Yeah. Really good.
Hi, Source. I said I was going to say when I got up here. So I guess really I just have one question. Sometimes when I meditate, I get a little head movement. I just want to make sure that I'm not losing my mind.
Now what's happening is, in your releasing thought and therefore allowing alignment, the intention of your inner being is being received by your body, which is what the movement's about. That's an intention that your inner being is offering, and you're no longer in the way, so you're allowing it to be.
Other questions? Anything might be you want to say to me?
You're doing really good. Keep enjoying this process and allow the natural flow, and more is happening than you're letting happen. In other words, took a while for the movement because didn't know quite what to expect, but now as that movement is satisfying to you, not troubling but satisfying, it's a symbol or a signal of connection and alignment. Just relax in that expectation and enjoy the flood of thoughts that's coming to you, because there's going to be a tendency to receive a thought and then block it because you think it's your own thought, because you're interpreting it into your own words. So you'll think you're thinking instead of having a clear mind. You're ready for those thoughts to flow. So just enjoy them. Don't try to force them. Don't try to make them happen. Don't try to ask questions in the middle of it. Just let the thoughts flow. Questions that you've had throughout the day or throughout the week or even throughout your lifetime are all active, and your inner being knows what they are. So your inner being is going to begin to stream that information and knowledge to you. So just enjoy it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely, more than words can convey to you, but maybe you felt it as it happened. Maybe you could feel the enthusiasm of your inner being as new insights sort of took hold in your own mind. One thing is certain, we know this for sure, that your point of attraction has shifted in the time that we've been here together, and things that you haven't been allowing will more easily flow into your experience. And this is the most important part. You are going to make the correlation between the vibrational shift that took place because we had this conversation together and what you are now allowing into your experience. More of those big things are going to be flowing in, more and more and more and more and more of them. We want to call your attention toward the cooperative components of the universe, toward the cooperative components of your desires. And we want you to feel with us that in this vibrational reality, the essence of those cooperative components has already been gathered. And so the thought paths have already been carved. So much more has already happened about the things that you want than you have any conscious realization of, because you've been waiting to see it before you believe it rather than believing it before you see it. If you can believe in this vibrational reality, if you can believe in the power of your own thought, and if you can demonstrate for yourself some capability of holding your thought on some subjects in a place that you prefer and then watching the evidence of it, then you've got it. Then there will be nothing that is apart from what you desire. Everything that you desire will begin showing itself to you in incremental fashion until it bursts into your experience in full blown. You want the manifestation, and for the most part you are dissatisfied with the thought process along the way. That's going to change now, because that thought process must be satisfying before it can burst onto the scene. You can't be reluctant, worried along the way. It's not evolving. You have to be satisfied, some form of satisfaction before those thoughts are going to turn to the tangible things that you want.